Hi students, this is Miss Johnson with 9-7 Growth and Decay. Today we're going to learn how to use real-world formulas. Alright, let's find out what some of these formulas are. First one, for exponential growth. How do you find exponential growth? Well, the equation is y equals a times, in the parentheses, 1 plus r to the exponent of t. And a represents the starting amount, r represents the rate of what's going on, the growing, and t is how much time it's going to grow for. Make sure you include these labels in your vocab. Alright, exponential decay means things are going down. Exponential decay is almost the exact same thing, y equals a, except in parentheses, instead of 1 plus r, it's 1 minus r to the t. Again, the a is the starting amount of money that you have, r is the rate, and t is the amount of time. And lastly, compound interest. This was what lots of banks and credit cards and mortgages all deal with. To find compound interest, to find the amount of interest, that equals p times, in parentheses, 1 plus r divided by n to the exponent of n times t. Now p is your principal, or it's your starting amount. R again is your rate, t again is your time, but the n is the number of times that the interest compounds every year. So if it says it compounds monthly, that number is going to be 12. If it says it compounds weekly, that number is going to be 52. Okay, compound interest. All right, let's do some problems. Example 1, college tuition. This is what you guys are going to be looking forward to in just a few short years. College tuition has risen 5% each year since the year 2000. If the tuition in 2000 was $10,850, we're going to write an equation for the amount of tuition t years after 2000, and we're going to predict the cost of tuition now. Well, that's good. We need to know how much college is going to cost us. And as we're taking a look, it says the tuition has risen 5% each year. So that means that we are going to be working with exponential growth. Risen means growing. So we're going to be using the formula y equals a, in parentheses, 1 plus r to the t. So let's plug in some numbers. Our a is our amount that we're starting with. Well, that's our $10,850. R is our rate. It says our rate is 5%, but we want to write this as a decimal, so we can enter it in our calculator. So 5% is 0.05. If you didn't know that, remember the 5 has the decimal right here at the end. We need to always move the decimal over 2 spots, 1, 2, to get our 0.05. All right, and we need the t. The t is our time. Well, it's obviously the year 2014. We're going to subtract 2000. That's going to give us a time of 14 years that college tuition has gone up. All right, now we need to find the cost of tuition. So we're going to plug all these numbers in. So y equals a is our $10,850, parentheses, 1 plus our rate of 0.05 to the exponent of t, which is 14. Following order of operations, we need to add the 1 plus 0.05 to get 1.05. And then, of course, we need to do exponents. 1.05 to the 14th power is 1.979931599. You ask, do I really need to keep all these decimals? The answer is yes. Keep all those decimals and then just type it on your calculator times 10,850. And you get a long decimal, but let's go ahead and round it because we're dealing with money. So college tuition is going to cost $21,842.26, rising 5% each year. All right, example number 2, population in Richfield has been decreasing by an average rate of about 0.3% per year. In 2000, when they last did a census, the population was 34,439. Write an equation to represent the population since the year 2000 and predict the population for this year. So this time our population in Richfield has been decreasing, so that means we're going to work with exponential decay. So now we're going to use the formula y equals a times, in parentheses, 1 minus r to the t exponent. Okay, our amount that we're starting with is our population, 34,439. Our rate is 0.3, but that is a decimal, 0.3. We need to move it over 2 more spots, so that is a decimal is 0.003. Make sure that you're careful with those. And then time, our t, again, is going to be 14 years, 2014 minus 2000. Okay, plugging it into the equation, we have y equals 34,439. In parentheses, 1 minus 0.003 is our rate to the 14th power. All right, now let's finish calculating. 1 minus 0.003 is 0.997. 0.997 to the 14th power is 0.9588092526. Multiply that by the population of 34,439, and the current population of Richfield is 33,020.43185. But we're talking about population. That's people. Can we have all these decimals? Can we have part of a person? No. So we need to round it to the nearest whole person. So we're going to have 33,020 people. All right, next example, number 3. If you are going to invest $300 you just got for your birthday at an interest rate of 3.5% compounded monthly for 22 years, how much money would you have? Now, when you are working with compound interest in the problem, it will specifically say the word compounded. If it doesn't, you need to use the other 2 formulas. Okay, so it says compounded, so we're going to use the compound interest formula, which is A equals P times parentheses 1 plus R divided by N to the exponent of N times T. All right, first one, P is our principal or our starting amount. Well, we're starting with our $300 we just got for our birthday. The R is our rate, 3.5%. If we move the decimal over 2 spots, we get 0.035. Our N is how many times it's compounded. Well, it says it's compounded monthly. Well, there's 12 months in a year, so that means we're going to use 12 for the number of times it's compounded per year. And T is the time, and it tells us 22 years. Okay, let's fill all these into our equation. The amount of money, A equals 300 is our principal, plus 0.035 is our rate, divided by N, divided by 12, to the exponent of N, 12, times the 22 years. All right, first thing we need to do, actually, is we need to figure out what this exponent is. Let's do 12 times 22, which is 264. Okay, next we need to do 0.035 divided by 12. That as a decimal is 0.0029166667. Keep going inside the parentheses, so add 1 to that. Now we get to do our exponent, so 1.0029166667 to the exponent of 264 gives us 2.157347078. Multiply by 300, our starting amount, and the amount of money that we will have is $647.20. If we left $300 for 20 years, compounded monthly at 3.5%, we would have $647.20. That's a pretty good deal. All right, that's all for today. This was Miss Johnson with Growth and Decay. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.